Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another part of Metal Gear Solid 2: Sons of Liberty. Last time we were introduced to Solid Snake Otacon and the area we're starting off in, and now we should be heading over to take pictures of a Metal Gear. Also, I shot tranquilizers at a pregnant woman, but it was her fault, really.
You are truly one of a kind in justifying terrible things to yourself, but regardless, yes, you still have the task of finding the Metal Gear in here. I wouldn't think it would be all that difficult considering the size of Metal Gear Rex before, but this one could be different.
I guess I should have mentioned this too, but along with doing a no alert run, obviously I'm also planning on doing the least amount of kills possible. I thought about Joe's performance, and although it was good, there were many parts where he was killing more than necessary, so I'm going to improve on that by being better than him on both levels. Also, hitting that extinguisher made some dangerous lines visible, so I can probably destroy this with my new gun.
Won't that cause an alert, though?
Most likely, yes.
All right, Donald, you're less than 1 minute into the second video, and you've already caused an unnecessary alert, so I can only imagine how many kills you're going to get by the end of the game.
Okay, I know things don't look so good at the start, but I'm pretty sure I can hide over in this other room while the guards look around. Besides, none of the guards actually saw me, so I don't know if this should really count.
It clearly said alert up there. Even if it didn't actually say it now, the guards are aware of someone else's presence, especially since you knocked that guy out without it being necessary, so he's definitely aware of you now. We'll just have to wait it out.
That was really quick for them to just ignore the room entirely and go back to caution. I would think they would look for a lot longer than that.
To be fair, the radar does indicate they are still looking. If Donald continues his style of gameplay, I'm sure they'll catch him again very soon.
Nah, that's fake news, I've got this.
Doubt it, but okay.
All right, Donald, you're not even out of the same area you were just at, and you've already gotten another alert. What's your plan from here besides getting caught even more?
Pretty much just shoot everyone that comes up here. They have to run out of people at some point.
Was getting knocked on the ground a part of the plan at all? That doesn't seem like an offensive position.
Or how about the second time you got knocked down? This is a very unique strategy you've decided to use.
Donald, I don't mean to pile on, but they are painting the walls with Snake's blood right now.
I'll admit this is a bad moment for me, but once I get out of this room, it is going to be smooth sailing from here on out.
We are incredibly doubtful, but let's see.
That was pretty weird.
Number 3, everyone, can we get to number 4 soon, or will Donald actually start playing well?
I'm at this room right here. There is no chance I get caught yet again. Never going to happen, probably.
We are very doubtful.
Something over there.
Donald, are you doing this on purpose? I don't think you've made one correct decision so far.
No, Barack, I'm not actually doing this on purpose. It's just that I have a plan in my head about how the game goes, and then it doesn't actually happen the way I want it to. Just trust me, everything will be fine. I'm still going the right direction.
It's hard to trust you based on your performance the past 2 minutes. Honestly, if your evasion skills were as good as your aim to hit that fire extinguisher, you'd probably be all right.
See, I can prove I have the skill necessary to win at this game. I'm about to end this alert phase and make my way on.
Donald, how are you actually this bad? I can't think of any time in the
now.
entire first playthrough Joe did where he was this abysmal, but you are reaching new records of failure that I've never seen before.
I have to agree with the majority here. There is simply no way I can rationally think on how you are playing unless you're trying to get caught by every guard in the game. I don't think we're going to worry about the Metal Gear attacking Snake, as Donald probably won't even get there to begin with.
Not to play the devil's advocate, but technically Donald didn't actually get an alert phase until a little after he left from the guard seeing him when Snake sneezed. I think he knocked the guard out right before. That doesn't change the fact that he shouldn't have gotten caught like that, but he did recover from it.
Thanks for the defense, Barack.
Okay, I can't defend you when you do things like that. I'm not even sure if devil's advocate was the right term, but the main concern is that you've gotten caught 6 times and no end in sight. I have no idea where to go here, but for your sake, I hope you find the right path before we reach the double digits.
At least we get to see the nice rain effects. I'm just trying to look at the positives at this point, since I'm not seeing anything positive from Donald's performance, kind of like the debate.
Nobody asked you, Joe, plus you were too incoherent to debate me, so you had your vice president do it instead, so you don't get to criticize my performance after your incredible blunder at the debate before, where you were barely even awake.
All right, guys, no need to get into arguments. I know the debate was very interesting with many of the things Donald said, but the election itself is coming up, and we don't want things to get more hostile than they have to.
Yeah, we'll have to save it all up when the votes are counted, obviously in my favor, like I expect.
Donald, are you aware that you're supposed to be avoiding the guards? Perhaps that's where you're confused, because you seem to be running into them like they're holding on to the last Big Mac in existence.
Okay, guys, I'll admit I have no concept of a plan on how I'm going to get this game done. I've never played anything like it, and despite my warranted confidence, my gameplay is clearly showing the opposite. Now, if you'll let me focus, I'm about to make the biggest comeback in the history of gaming.
Wow, you were actually showing some clarity there for a moment, but that certainly didn't last long.
It's time to accept fate, Donald. You can try again, though.
What's going on? Snake! Snake!
All right, guys, attempt number 2. This is bound to go better than the first time, which was pretty good if you think about it.
Well, your definition of think must be very different from mine, but yes, this is a chance to show improvement, so let's hope it happens.
I don't think we've been here before. You must be in the right area.
Raven?
How is Vulcan Raven here? Donald, you're going to have a very difficult time fighting. It's really just a toy?
I don't understand, is he supposed to be important?
He was an important fight in the previous game.
He doesn't look so good, Donald. Can you start teabagging him? I think it would be really funny.
No, Joe, I'm not teabagging these dead people like you used to. I have to make things seem a little more professional on my playthrough.
Why would you do that? It seems like a very disgusting and disrespectful thing to do.
You are right, it is disgusting and disrespectful to do, but it's funny, and that fact doesn't care about his feelings, especially since he's too dead to care right now. Anyways, on a gameplay note, Donald, it is nice how you were actually careful approaching that guard instead of running right into him like you did the past few minutes. It seems as though you were actually learning.
Yeah, that's what I get called learning Master Donald. I go into pretty much any situation and people say, wow, Donald, you learned that thing more quickly than anyone. Everyone is saying this. And then I say, yeah, that's why I get called learning Master Donald. It's a really nice cycle since people get to see my infinitely increasing skill set.
So, aside from Donald making things up about what people said to him, this area seems quite different than the others and a little more restrictive on getting to the other side. Perhaps being in a new environment will be better for you than the other rooms where you got caught every 40 seconds or so on average.
Hey, I was thinking, everyone, I know we didn't do this the first part, but should we come up with some comment questions for the viewers to engage with? I don't know when we would acknowledge them, but I think it could be nice to do anyway to get some involvement from the community.
I think that would be good to do, Joe. Perhaps we should start by asking people which game in the series is their favorite. Like I said before, I'm not familiar with the series, so I'm not really sure which ones there are or which ones are the best.
Well, there's quite a few of them. Based on what I've heard online, the games are generally very good, with Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater being the fan favorite. That's actually getting a remake called Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, which recreates the graphics, though, using the original voice lines. We're only vaguely aware of what happens in the MSX games. Now that I think about it, we may do a poll, but should we do the original game or the remake when we eventually play it for the channel?
Yeah, I suppose that would be a good idea. If our editor actually remembers to put that poll up, then that would be great to hear the viewer's input. Or you can comment it so he won't forget and also boost engagement.
The game will probably be out for a while by the time we get around to uploading this whole series, so there's quite a lot of time for us all to consider it. We don't want to sway people's decisions, so let us know what you all would think. I'd be playing it either way when we get there, so that won't be a concern.
I'm fine either way, as long as you don't repeat what Donald did earlier today.
All right, I get it. I didn't have the best start, but I'm working on redeeming myself now. I'll prove I can make it through this game with as little trouble as possible, as long as you don't consider the 7 alerts today.
In all fairness, you are playing much better than you did at first, so I believe you have a chance at not failing spectacularly. Still, I am skeptical to know what's coming up ahead.
I wonder what's going on here.
Repair of the entranceway to the engine room on the port side is complete. We'll return to position following patrol of the small room on the port side.
Good job on not interrupting him mid-message and causing suspicion. I believe you are doing better.
Yeah, I had to hold myself back on that one. I'm guessing there's something suspicious up ahead now.
Maybe those new thermal goggles will show something you couldn't normally see.
Yeah, you're right, there's lots of lines everywhere. Probably a good time to shoot some sensors like I did earlier while I got caught that one time. Oh great, another call.
Snake, wait! Don't move!
I see it. Some kind of device on both sides of the hall. Infrared sensors?
Right, and they're linked to...
Let me guess. Semtex.
Exactly. Plastic explosives.
So this is what they were talking about.
Looks like it. If you trip the sensors...
I'll be sleeping with the fishes, along with this entire ship.
I wonder if whatever explosion that would happen could be enough to destroy the Metal Gear in here.
That is an interesting way of thinking about it. Snake deliberately causing an explosion to destroy the area and the Metal Gear with it. I wonder how that would go if he evacuated the Marines first so they would be safe.
Do you see the thing with blinking green lights right next to the explosives? That's the control unit for the sensors. Destroy that, and the sensors stop functioning. You can't get in close enough to touch it, so you'll have to shoot it out. But the M9's knockout rounds won't work. The USP you picked up should do the trick. Use that gun.
Thanks for the explanation, Otta Khan, but I already figured it out based on what I did earlier. At least it's good for the players who aren't as good as me to get that explanation so they can still progress.
How will you know when you've shot all of them?
These lasers that I can see with the thermal goggles will probably disappear once they are all destroyed. I'm not sure how many there are left, but I'm certainly not going further until I can see those lines aren't there anymore.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. I'm glad you stopped by to get those. I don't think it would have been so bad if you didn't, but it would have made this a lot more risky if you didn't know what to look for.
So those thermal goggles you're talking about, were they in the previous game or not?
Yes, they were, though they weren't really used the same way. It's been a while, but I think they let you see mines on the ground more clearly and also let you see Sniper Wolf in that fight more easily.
Yeah, I still miss Sniper Wolf. She was really attractive and probably had other qualities too, but none that I was interested in.
That's not good, Joe, but more importantly, let's see what's next.
Verrazano Bridge checkpoint passed. All non-essential personnel report to the holds in 10 minutes' time for the scheduled briefing session with the Commandant. You are ordered to continue manning your posts until that time.
There's quite a few dead people here. Something tells me they're not going to be arriving for that briefing or manning their positions.
Yeah, that is a pretty reasonable assumption, Detective Donald. Are you going to tell us next that somebody may have done this to them on purpose?
Yeah, I think it's a possibility, but I'd have to investigate further to come to a conclusion more confidently. Maybe this just happened to them by accident at the same time. I figure that could be the case.
More related to the game, I was considering something. There doesn't appear to be any threat to Snake right now, and there's just a bunch of items. Could that mean there's some important fight coming up that Donald will have to prepare for?
I hadn't thought about that before, but yeah, there were some things like that before. Those rooms below the Psycho Mantis fight. The stairs before the torture room that I still need to make plans to go back there. Those containers before Vulcan Raven. This seems to be a common thing, so I'm guessing you're correct and Donald will have to fight something up ahead. I wonder if that will be in a small area like this is where there's not much room to do things.
I think you're right. I never thought of it that way either, but that would be consistent.
I'm sure whatever's coming up to me I can handle. As long as I've got about 30 bandages and 48 rations, this will be easy.
You can't hold that much, nor should you need that many in the first place.
Either way, we should find out sooner or later exactly what we're up against.
I wonder if there's a light switch nearby for this hall. This is such exhilarating action so far.
Colonel, we have sealed the stern hatch. The lift is also under our control.
We're on the foredeck, about to descend to the holds.
Sir, the Marine Commander has started his speech already.
I'm thinking Donald will have to fight these guys here.
All communications to the holds have been severed. No one is aware of our presence.
Let no one down into the holds until we are out.
Yes, sir. We will secure your exit with our lives if necessary.
There is one more thing.
Yes, sir.
My daughter, keep her safe.
Yes, sir.
They seem nice enough we can probably just walk on by past them.
Who goes there?
You were saying, Joe? Also, this alert shouldn't count against me as that was story related. It wasn't my fault.
Okay, we'll give Donald a pass for that once, since he's right, it wasn't him just getting caught like before. Still, I'm interested to see what strategy, if any, you have.
As you all know, my no-kill run needs to stay in place, so I'm going to use some stun grenades to keep them still, then tranquilize them all until they aren't in my way anymore.
You seemed a little different in your speech during your last line, Donald. Are you feeling nervous at all?
No, I'm fine. I've got this. I just have to remember not to take any hits and hide behind things while I can. These guys are actually harder to hit than the others before, though.
For someone who is trying not to get hit, you seem to be getting hit quite a bit. You're also not really in a good position right now to shoot at them.
It's not like I have that many options right now since they're outnumbering me by a lot.
Things are not looking good now.
Stop kidding around. Snake?
Okay, that didn't go well, so I'm skipping ahead to where I succeeded since I knew I would. Only took a game over to do it.
Is something exciting supposed to be happening here? I'm not sure what he's doing here.
Who goes there?
Maybe this guy will be more interesting than Snake standing by the valve door.
Oh, Shalashaska. Why are you here? We thought you were with the Colonel. What the?
That certainly was more interesting. This should be Revolver Ocelot from earlier. He looks familiar, but I don't think we've been told what he's doing here.
The Colonel will be joining you soon, comrade.
Oh, great.
Snake, are you in yet? Have you made it to the holds?
It's taking longer than I expected. We've already passed the Verrazano Bridge.
All right, we'll use another recovery point.
They may be planning to change course.
What?
The exits to the deck are all sealed.
What are they planning?
If they get Metal Gear, we're going right off the fringe.
This must be a deep place if it can hold all of these people and a Metal Gear in it, presumably in different large rooms. I thought this would be a little smaller when we first got here, but apparently not.
They have no way of knowing that the ship's been taken over.
I'm not interested in fighting these guys. The weapons won't do me much good here.
Can you see Metal Gear?
No, I'll have to go around to the bow. They have some serious defenses here. I doubt the recent arrivals want to blast their way through the Marines either.
Wonder where they're headed.
I don't know. Not the beach, that's for sure.
If they're going to the beach, I want to see Kyrie and Selfie again.
Snake, let's go over this one more time. Use this camera to get photographic evidence of the Metal Gear prototype. Now do your thing and take pictures that speak louder than the government's plausible denials. We need 4 shots. Metal Gear from the front right, and front left, and a close-up of the Marine Corps marking.
Marking?
There should be a Marine's insignia on the body of Metal Gear. Just let someone try explaining away a clear shot of that.
That seems simple enough. I can handle that just fine.
All right.
There's actually one little thing.
Just spit it out. I'm used to things going wrong.
It looks like someone's monitoring our transmission.
Who?
I don't have a clue. All they're doing is watching. It would creep me out less if they tried to interfere with our communications.
Could it have something to do with that cipher we saw?
Maybe. I've switched the encryption protocol for our burst transmission for now. What I want to do is use a different method for sending these photos, just in case.
Instead of using the codec?
How could Snake even send pictures from the camera to the codec?
There's a workstation in the southeast corner of the block where Metal Gear is housed. I've made arrangements so that you can send the pictures from the machine.
Arrangements?
I hitched a ride on Link 16 into US military's proprietary network. Managed to get into that workstation and overwrote a part of the system software so I could remote install a little app I wrote.
Why bother with anything that complicated?
No, it's pretty simple, really. Look, all you have to do is stand in front of the machine and push the action button.
I do think it's weird to have characters directly acknowledging things like saving and the controls. It seems unusual, but it is very direct to tell players how to use things.
If you think that's weird, you'd lose your mind with seeing Psycho Mantis for the first time.
So all I have to do is push the action button in front of the computer once I have the pictures, right?
Well, sure, if you put it that way. And one more thing. The Commandant's already begun his speech, but you need to get the pictures before he's done talking. Otherwise, they'll spot you, okay?
How much time do I have?
I hacked into his personal files and took a look at the text of that speech. I'd say you have 7 more minutes. Longer if he throws in a joke or two.
That must be the speech from a few minutes ago. I'm sure I can do this in 7 minutes, probably even 1 or 2 if I'm slow.
With these kinds of odds, I won't be making any sudden moves. But that doesn't mean we can just let Metal Gear be hijacked.
Okay, but first the photos.
All right, we'll deal with the rest when we get there.
Stay low.
All right, so if I get caught, it's pretty much a game over. I wouldn't be able to win against any of them, much less all at the same time. I do want to get at least one picture so that someone can Photoshop my head onto them for one of my new NFT lines. I made a lot of the money selling images online before, so why not do it again?
I mean, that's a bizarre strategy to put your real picture of your head onto a game character from the PlayStation 2 originally, but I'm sure people would buy it anyway, so yeah, you might as well at this point.
Hey, should we be listening to this speech happening? I'm not sure if it's helpful or not, but I don't think we should talk over all of it.
We can probably listen to some of it at least.
I can't get a good angle. I'll have to go around these people first.
At the moment, every industrialized nation on the globe knows the specifications for Metal Gear. Worse yet, so do a number of rogue states. They are all working on deploying their own Metal Gear force to compete with the U.S.'s nuclear strike capability. The world is about to see a swarm of these Metal Gear derivatives.
I need to go slowly here.
Some say that the strategic importance of aircraft carriers will be reduced by the completion of Ray. The opposition from the Navy is an undeniable fact. There is a lot of pressure from Navy brass, especially those with submarine and air background.
Donald, are you really trying to get the picture of the one without any real pants on? How was he allowed to attend without the proper attire? Why can nobody see you in their peripheral vision? Why did the game designers decide to include him like that specifically?
These questions are probably not ones we will nor should hear the answers to. Let's just move on and try not to think about it too hard.
Always bear that in mind. This weapon will render all other Metal Gears obsolete. Nations building up their own Metal Gear force will think twice about their nuclear strategy in the light of the military dominance spelled out by Ray.
I just have to wait for them to turn and then I'm free to move forward.
The shift in the balance of power will mean a new world order, and we, the Marine Corps, will play a central role in its military affairs.
This seems simple enough so far. I do think it would be funny if you just threw a grenade or shot your gun in a way that would attract everyone's attention at the same time. Not that you need more game overs, but still.
Your development, but it cannot. You're all familiar with the Shadow Moses incident during the Sears administration. The current state of nuclear proliferation is a direct result of that event.
So this is really what a Metal Gear looks like up close.
Kind of. The Metal Gear wrecks look more blocky than this one, and the general shape is similar but not identical. This is probably a more advanced model since it's been a few years in game time.
It would be really bad if we had to fight this. One, because of the lack of Donald's equipment, and two, because of the lack of Donald's skill.
All right, this must be the section where I have to take a lot of photos to send to Otacon. If anybody that isn't Joe wants to tell any stories now, would be the time since I won't be saying much for a few minutes.
So there I was as a cameraman for a top secret project for something called a Metal Gear Ray. I was watching someone named Scott Dolph give a speech. I remembered a small portion of the beginning, I think. At the moment, every industrialized nation on the globe knows the specifications for Metal Gear. Worse yet, so do a number of rogue states. They are all working on deploying their own Metal Gear force to compete with the U.S.'s nuclear strike capability. The world is about to see a swarm of these Metal Gear derivatives. We initiated development on Metal Gear Ray as a countermeasure to these pirated weapons forces. The only thing that can stand up to a Metal Gear is, of course, another Metal Gear. With Ray, the hundreds, if not thousands, of Metal Gears that exist all over the world are no longer a threat. The blind rush to nuclear proliferation, and it will be the Marine Corps and our Ray that will accomplish this. This weapon will render all other Metal Gears obsolete. Nations building up their own Metal Gear force will think twice about their nuclear strategy in light of the nuclear dominance spelled out by Ray. This next part was later in the speech. As a father, I want to leave a better world for the future generation. As a soldier, I know that is my duty. I'm kind of blanking on this part. Metal Gear Ray is amphibious, unlike the Army's Rex. It can cruise deep underwater. There was something else here. Move in undetected and make its landing on any shoreline. There was something else that's on the tip of my tongue. Its onboard Joint Tactical Information Distribution System identifies targets with unerring accuracy and takes them out with massive firepower.
Joe, that was just an excerpt of the speech that was just being told to us. Some of it was even done at the same time he was saying it, so I'm not sure how you remembered something that was happening at the exact moment you were saying it. You tell a lot of weird stories, and yet you somehow manage to top yourself in making them less logical as we go on.
You are right, Ben. There is no explanation to that, but more importantly, Donald has taken quite a few pictures, and I'd like to think Otacon will be satisfied in them. There's only one way to really find out, though, so let's see what he thinks of them. As soon as this computer is ready. I would think if they could afford a Metal Gear Ray, the computer terminals would be a little faster, but that's fine. I'm glad nobody in the room is watching Snake be here.
I wonder what password Snake is trying. Apparently he got it, but I don't think we were ever told what they were, and I certainly didn't put them in.
Not sure, but if it makes things easier for us, then that's what matters. If you didn't get the photos correctly, then you'll probably have to go back and do them again. While Joe was repeating the speech I was watching, and it seemed pretty good to me at least.
Once this computer uploads, at least, it really is taking a while. Snake would probably be caught soon at this rate.
So, any codec moments from you, Snake? Okay, first up. It needs to be a little more clear. What we need is top-notch quality here.
Hey, that is top-notch quality.
And the next one is... I'm sorry, you need to take another one.
Fake news, I'd like to see you do better.
The next one's... This is great. The Marines lettering shows up really well. And the...
This is so rigged, I clearly took great photos, the best ones in fact.
At least he likes that one. If he continues not liking them, you'll probably have to take more photos, though, which will take up more time.
Now I'm skipping ahead to where he likes them. I'm not having the viewers see my photography keep getting rejected by this nerd here.
Looks like I have your photos now. Let's take a look. The first image is... You're a pretty good photographer. We can definitely use this left shot. And the next one is... You already took a good one of the side lettering.
Okay, point taken, move on now.
And the next one is... We only need one good shot of the lettering.
He is really focused on the lettering more than anyone else should be.
Okay, last one's coming up. Okay, this works. It's a great front view. Okay, now we have all the photos. Snake, the speech is about to wind up. Forget the photos and get out of there now.
The master photographer Donald has done it again.
We, the Marines, will lead the charge into a new world order with Metal Gear Ray. That is all. Dismissed.
I anticipate something going very wrong here. It's been a few minutes since anything dangerous or concerning has happened.
Excellent speech, my friend.
Who the?
Okay, that would be it.
Gift of the silver tongue. They say it's the mark of a good officer. End of a liar. Americans are too in love with the sound of their own voice to speak the truth.
Identify yourself.
I can see no way he gets out of this.
I am Shalashaska, also called Revolver Ocelot.
I still think we should get an explanation on how he has two arms when he clearly lost one before. That's not just a minor plot point they can just retcon.
Otacon calling us 12 times to explain it all is my guess.
What do you want?
This machine will be quite useful.
What are you planning to do? Steal this thing?
Steal? No, I'm taking it back.
So I looked this up online just now. Apparently the Metal Gear Ray actually made a cameo in Metal Gear Solid VR missions after beating every mission. We didn't play that, so it wasn't shown, but it was there.
Are you ever going to play those?
We might do the MSX games at some point, but I doubt we'll play the VR missions game. It's not the best for our commentary style, and there isn't likely any story to it.
Oh, okay, good to know.
Gerlukovich. Nobody move. Understood?
Now I can see why Revolver Ocelot would get out of this.
This ship now carries enough Simtex on its key structural points to blow it out of the water at the touch of this button.
That sounds kind of dangerous. I should get one of those for the popsicle freezer defense system.
That's right. No one has to die needlessly. target. Get a move on.
If they're taking it away, at least I don't have to fight it. That's good.
What do you intend to do with Ray? Sell it on the streets?
I was raised in Snezinsk, formerly known as Chelyabinsk 70, the nuclear research outpost.
What are you talking about?
After the Cold War ended, my home was bought out by the Americans.
Is there a point to this sad story?
Now you would understand. Land, friends, dignity, all sold to the highest bidder, the United States of America. Even the technology that gave birth to these weapons is Russian, developed by us.
What do you intend to do?
Russia will rise again. And Ray is the key.
I regret to inform you that I have no intention of selling Metal Gear. As I said, I came to take it back.
Oh, that complicates their plan a lot.
This disagreement probably will not end well for quite a few people here.
If I was there in person, I'd be able to reach a deal for everyone easily.
Yes, returned to the Patriots.
The Lale Lule Lo? How's that possible?
Ocelot, have you sold us out?
I was never in your employ, Kurlukovich.
Are you still in league with Solidus?
For context, Jordan Solidus Snake was mentioned in the credits of the previous game, but we don't know much else besides that.
Rot for all I care.
Since when, Ocelot? When did you turn?
I'm glad you noticed, comrade. I abandoned her during the Cold War.
I'm on the edge of my seat here.
Metal Gear only has room for one.
I think a few kids could fit in there, actually.
Kurlukovich, you and your daughter will die here. Damn you!
Donald, your kid idea was really weird. What irresponsible parent would put their kid in a Metal Gear?
Sergei, looks like you were long overdue for retirement.
Traitorous dog.
It looks like it hurt a little.
For the first time seeing him in action, he looks very intimidating.
Show's over. If you wish to live, I suggest you run now. This ship is still in the lower New York harbor. You may yet make it to shore if you swim for your life.
I'm not a good swimmer, oh no.
I think we saw a water scene in the intro. This must be it.
I've never seen him do this before.
It's been a while, brother.
No, not Solid Snake again.
No Joe that is still not solid. You know what, at this point, what do I care? Call him what you want.
Liquid?
Not so young anymore, eh, Snake? You're drowning in time. I know what it's like, brother. No wonder Naomi passed you over for the Fox Dive program.
Ouch! Get out of my mind, Liquid!
That explains why Cam Clark's name was in the credits, but not how Liquid Snake possessed Revolver Ocelot with a new arm.
Did they have to use Liquid Snake's arm specifically? Was there no other donor option?
I'm not sure.
The price of physical prodigy. Few more years and you'll be another dead clone of the old man. Our raw materials are vintage, brother. Big Boss was in his late 50s when they created his copies. But I live on through this arm!
Liquid's arm.
Apparently, he also lived on through Liquid's vocal cords since he sounds exactly like him. This is completely illogical since the vocal cords are not stored in people's arms.
Thank you for the anatomy lesson, Ben. We all appreciate that new bit of knowledge.
I hope Otacon doesn't call us to ask how things are going, because right now they aren't going especially well.
Is now a good time for another one of my stories?
It never is, but especially not right now.
You don't have what it takes after all! You're going down, Snake, with this tanker!
I wonder if Liquid would have tried hunting down Solid Snake himself if he wasn't already here, considering I don't think any of them knew he would be here.
Come on, guys, only a few more shots will take it down. I believe in you.
Do they usually screech like that?
Not usually this often, no.
We have a problem.
Yeah, you don't say Snake. Pretty much everything there is a problem.
There certainly isn't much dialogue now, but it's still a great action scene. This really must have been an amazing title at the beginning of the console release.
Snake! Snake!
Okay, I don't care. He said the Snake thing again like that. It definitely isn't a game over. I did not contribute to that one.
Okay, I definitely cannot believe that fit in the tanker. It is way too large to be contained in there.
No problems. Proceeding as planned, sir.
I really don't like the idea of me having to fight that later. I wonder where Snake will go next since the tanker is destroyed.
Yes, at the location we discussed. Yes, I have photographic evidence of Snake on the scene. The cipher was most useful. I look forward to tomorrow morning's newsflash. I would say the Marine Corps' plans are on indefinite hold. Yes, of course, Mr. President.
That certainly was an exciting time today.
We're going to be cutting it off here for today.
You made a good recovery after the bad beginning, Donald.
Thank you to all the viewers for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
And peace out, people.